sounds of doo-wop are important because doo-wop would eventually become something akin to pop. Pop is a very hard musical genre to define. It means popular music, but if the music that's popular at the moment is rock and roll, you can hardly say that rock and roll is pop music. Pop music is a type of music that the artist takes inspiration or takes different genres or takes different themes and throws them all together in their musical style to try and hit number one. That sometimes can be absolutely fantastic, or it can result in dismal failures like numerous teeny boppy bands that we've had down through the years. So what happens next? Well, and how does doo-wop come into it? Well, doo-wop combines with rock and roll to come into its own in soul. So in other words, jazz's child, doo-wop, gets it off with rock and roll, and what we have is soul, and Solomon Burke is an example of that.
When your baby leaves you all alone and nobody calls you on the phone, don't you feel like a crying? Don't you feel like crying? Well, here I am, honey. Come on, you cry to me. When you're all alone in your lonely room, and there's nothing but the smell of her perfume. Don't you feel like a crying? Don't you feel like crying? Don't you feel like a cry? Come on, cry to me.
You can almost hear the rock and roll tones combined perfectly with the doo-wop of the Skyliners. And combined perfectly, it's there in Solomon Burke. That is soul. But before we go back to rock and roll, we need to talk a little bit about funk. That's right, we're talking about funk, the direct descendant of soul, the absolute child of Solomon Burke. Here's a little bit of funk with James Brown.
1, 2, 3, 4. Get up, get on up, get up, get on up, stay on the scene, get on up, like a sex machine, get on up, get up, get on up, get up, get on up, stay on the scene, get on up, like a sex machine, get on up, get up, get on up, stay on the scene, get on up, like a sex machine, get on up. Wait a minute, shake your arm, then use your palm, stay on the scene, like a sex machine. You got to have the feeling, sure you're born, get it together, right on, right on. Get up, get on up, get up, get on up, get up, get on up.
Okay, so let's go back to rock and roll. Where were we before? Okay, what we were just talking about was that jazz becomes dance and doo-wop, and that becomes soul, and that becomes funk. What happens when you combine funk, James Brown, with rock and roll Elvis? Well, what you get is psychedelic rock, and the example of that is White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane.
One pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small, and the ones that mother gives you don't do anything chasing rabbits, and you know you're going to fall. Tell 'em a hookah, smoking caterpillar has given you the call. You call Alice when she was just small.
Of course, White Rabbit is also an example of how the drugs revolution influenced music too, but we won't go into that right now. What else happened in rock and roll? Well, there was a combination of pop and rock and roll. Pop from England, in other words, a type of music that was popular in England, combining with American rock and roll, and they call it British invasion. Why? Because it was the British invasion of American music, or the British invasion onto the world stage, reinventing American music. And a perfect example of this can be found in the Beatles.
But when I get home to you, I find the things that you do will make me feel alright. You know I work all day to get your money to buy a thing, and it's worth it just to hear you say you're gonna give me everything. So why on earth should I moan? 'Cause when I get you alone, you know I feel okay. When I'm home, everything seems to be right. When I'm home, feeling you holding me tight, tight, yeah. It's been a hard day's night.
While the British invasion was happening on one end of music, on the other end of music, funk had developed into something altogether different. They had gotten rid of their dulcet tones by James Brown and all that sexiness, and they went for the white men on the disco dance floor. That's right, disco was invented, and with that came the Bee Gees. Leave disco right there, and we move right back up to the rock and roll invention of British invasion and its combination with the British influences. And what it turned into was pop rock. So it was a combination of popular music and rock. And British invasion became pop rock in its incarnations of Elton John, Rod Stewart, and, an example here, Peter Frampton.
Shadows go so long before my eyes, and then ring across the page. Suddenly the day turns into night, far away from the city. But don't hesitate, 'cause your love won't wait. Ooh, baby, I love you. Wanna tell you I love you. Wanna be with you night and day. Moon appears to shine, and not the sky, with the help of some firefly. I wonder how they have the power to shine.
That's so easygoing you'd almost think it was pop. In fact, some artists at the time did think it was pop, and there was a counter-revolution in the rock genre against that kind of thing. So what we had was rock and roll. The British invasion brought in a kind of a harder element. When you hear some of the Beatles, there's kind of a harsh element to it. It's gone in pop rock. Pop rock makes it nice, tries to make it very friendly to the ear, very nice stuff. But there's a complete counter-revolution against that afterwards in the form of two types of music that come out roughly around the same time, one slightly earlier than the other. The first one that comes out is hard rock, and examples there are Queen and Led Zeppelin. But the other one that came out was grunge. Totally two different types of music, but they were both counter-revolutions to the niceness of pop rock. Let's have a little example of some hard rock.
Too late, my time has come. Sent shivers down my spine, body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody, I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, I don't wanna die. Sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, Figaro. Magnifico! I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family, sparing his life from this monstrosity. Easy come, easy go, will you let me go? Bismillah, no, we will not let you go. Let him go. Bismillah, we will not let you go. Let him go. Bismillah, we will not let you go. Let me go. We'll not let you go. Let me go. We'll not let you go. Let me go. Oh, mamma mia, mamma mia. Mamma mia, let me go. Beelzebub has a devil put aside for me, for me.